Devy Degens, how is it going? I am SC Romero with my co-host Tommy Harvey, and 'tis the season for us to finally give you our guys. This is the My Guys episode, and we have some IDP in here as well, so you don't want to miss that. All that and much more right after the intro.
Breaking down the hate, man, we call it like we see it. Finding all the gems while the rest just sleeping. Freshmen to the league, we ahead of the curve. Picking out the next star, put them on the reserve. From the big time schools to the deep cut finds. Gotta know who's next when it's draft day time. Stock rising, playmaking, watch them ball out. Devy Degens, yeah, no doubt. Yo, it's time to talk the future Devy style. Prospects rising, diamonds shining. Only the real ones grinding. Welcome to the Devy Degens, let's go. Let's go!
Devy Degens, how's it going? I'm SC Romero with my co-host Tommy Harvey. Tommy, how are you doing today?
Oh man, that Ryan Williams catch in that intro still gets me every time I see it. Every time I see it, it's like that was such an amazing catch.
Oh yeah, especially if you tune into like, man, you're probably buckets down the whole time. You know, you're at the edge of your seat the entire game, and then you see that such a beautiful play from Jalen Monroe. And question is, I mean, can Ryan Williams do it again? Right, the quarterback. We were kind of down on Jalen Monroe anyways, but now, I mean, he has Ty Simpson, maybe Austin Mack, maybe a freshman in Keelan Russell. Either way you want to look at it.
Ty Simpson was named starting quarterback today.
So even, I mean, there you go, right? I mean, do we think Ryan Williams is going to be able to do that again? He might be the only thing they have. I mean, they have a lot of new faces there as well, but
honestly, Ty Simpson's a better passer than what Milroe is. He's just not a better creator. I mean, Milroe's thing was he was able to create everything. Right. He was able to create, and Ty Simpson, I don't think is that type of guy where he's going to be a backfield creator. But he's a much better passer.
Hey, we got Cat Dog over here. Shout out to the Go episode, Cat Dog. He has the dog side of the cat. He has a cat too, though, so don't mistake it. His cat makes an appearance every now and again. But we are animal lovers here. But just as we love our animals, we also love the prospects. And that's what today's episode is about. You know, if you've been tuning in with us, we're on episode 19. We've been going at it. Jamie, thanks for joining in. Shout out Jamie, great creator as well in the space. This episode, we're talking about our guys. So, guys, we are really high on this season. Guys, we're trying to acquire as much as we possible. We just think they're set up for a great season. So, this is a very exciting episode for us, because this is, again, what we've been doing all off season, just, kind of scouting these guys. And now we're kind of playing our flags on it. Now, if you tune in with me in my other episode, my other show called The Devy Planet, we did a flag player episode on that one. Kind of with a little bit different one to give you a different taste of some other guys I'm also liking as well. So my guys aren't there's one guy that is from that episode that is also on this, but I also gave some new feedback for y'all as well. The exciting part is not only are we doing our quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, we also have 3 IDPs for y'all. So we went defensive linemen, linebackers, and then also defensive back as well. So for our IDP levers, we're also making sure y'all know that as well. So shout out all that. Jamie, ride or die for sure. Mad Dog, thanks for joining in. Happy to be here. Let us know who some of your guys are for the college season as well. Now, Tommy, I'll let you start off with the quarterbacks here. Who is your guy playing that quarterback this season?
My guy is one of the guys I've been hyping up all off season here. To my knowledge, I was one of the first ones doing it, and people have kind of jumped on board. Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor. Right. To me, I've seen where there's been NFL scouts saying he is what everybody wanted Drew Aller to be. Mm-hmm. So the NFL guys are pretty high on him. So, I mean, 6'4", 220, big arm. I think he's going to lead Baylor to the Big 12 championship this year.
Okay.
I think there's 7 or 8 teams that are going to contend for that Big 12 title this year. I think Baylor's going to come away with it.
Nice. Well, the Big 12 needs to show off that competition because it looks like Big 10 and SEC are running away with them. Big 12 needs to say, hey, don't forget about us, right? So
Big 12 is a deep conference.
For sure.
They may not have the elite top end team, right, but they got, like I said, 7 or 8 teams that are going to contend for that for that Big 12 title this year.
Right, 100%, and that's a big part. It is. You think about the superior conferences, SEC moving, the Big Ten moving in there as well. That doesn't mean Big 12 and ACC aren't competitive. They are, right, within their own rights. Now, maybe they're not going up week over week against the Georgias or the Floridas or the Oregons or the Ohio States, but they're still a competitive conference, and Baylor is one of those. Shout out Josh Cameron, if I'm not mistaken. His wide receiver,
Bryson Washington,
made the freak list, the 101 freak list. Josh Cameron did there. So Sawyer Robertson definitely has some talent on the field to make sure he can find the success he needs as well. What I do love about his game, looking over some tape before this as well, he's really unfazed in the pocket. He doesn't let the pressure get to him. If he is, he's still staying confident. If he needs to make the adjustments to make some move or give his wide receivers some more time, he's able to do that. But he's also always looking down the field. You see some quarterbacks, pressures coming onto them. They're looking left, they're looking right, trying to find the open space to create that. He's eyes down the field the entire time. And on top of that, he's not just going for his first read. He's scanning the field left to right to make sure he's finding the right wide receiver that he needs to go there, or receiver if you say tight end or running back. He is really just standing with confidence in the pocket. Pressure's coming to him, and guess what? His eyes are down the field. He knows what he has to do. He has to deliver the ball down the field, and he does it in tight windows. You said strong arm, sure, but he's also very accurate. Like, there's some throws in there where you're like, quarterbacks aren't doing that, and he's making it on the money to his wide receivers as well. So big season is in store for Sawyer Robertson potentially there.
Yeah, and plus having good weapons around him. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people remember the name Kobe Prentice. You know, he started off over at Alabama, transferred into Baylor. Cole Wilson was at Texas State, transferred into Baylor this year. Michael Trigg, you know, big time spring game guy when he was at Ole Miss. Never really got off the ground there, but he's at Baylor now too. And you know, I think, you know, it's kind of like I said, you know, I've seen NFL scouts saying Sawyer Robertson is what everybody wanted Drew Aller to be. So you know, he's obviously got plenty of mobility, plenty of upside as far as, you know, maybe not a true dual threat guy, but a guy who has some rushing ability too.
I think a lot of people are still bullish on Drew Aller, and it's like we haven't seen it. He doesn't need to show it. They have a strong run game, right? And so that's where it's like he's almost like a JJM to me, where it's like you don't see enough of it to say he's a first-round prospect. Like, if he is, it's going to be based on the record, not necessarily what he's shown, because you haven't seen enough of it. Now, Jamie is asking us, what do you think about his mobility in the pocket? Is it above average?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is it? I would say above average, sure, but I wouldn't say he's a dual threat. He's a quarterback that can get it done. You know,
I wouldn't say dual threat. He has plenty of mobility, though. I mean,
yeah,
I would say Garrett Nussmeier is average as far as mobility in the pocket.
Right.
Sawyer Robertson is above average.
For sure. He can get it done, you know, and again, he knows when he needs to run. He's one of those smart quarterbacks. He doesn't run just to run. He knows when he needs to, when the defensive backs or linebackers are covering, you know, the proper zone coverage, proper man coverage, that he doesn't have anyone open. He's to go out there and make it happen for him. Now, my guy here at quarterback position is a guy, if you've been tuning in, I've been talking about him left and right, and that is going to be Pittsburgh quarterback Eli Holstein. I've compared him to Ben Roethlisberger. Just the way he moves in the pocket, the way he's built is just kind of that big type of quarterback, but can also run, throws with some strength. He was banged up last year, and it just goes to show, though, I think this is a year that he's improved. He actually came out and said that he stepped up in the leadership role, that this team is much more dangerous than what they were last year, that he asked in some interviews as well. He can throw some darts. He has an improved O-line. He has Desmond Reed coming back. He has Johnson there as well. He got in is it Cal's tight end and Overman coming over from him as well. So he has different weapons coming in that's really going to excel him. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Former Alabama commit ended up transferring over to Pittsburgh, and this is the year I feel he really excels. You know, people were high on Kenny Pickett for one play. They're going to be high on Eli Holstein for the whole season, because that's the type of quarterback he is there.
Yeah, you made the point about Kenny Pickett. I think Holstein's better than Pickett. He's more of the prototypical size quarterback. Right. A lot of people made a big deal about Kenny Pickett's hand size.
Right.
Holstein's got, obviously he's going to have bigger hands. I think he's more mobile and more athletic than what Kenny Pickett is.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a much bigger arm too. So he has better upside than what Kenny Pickett ever had.
For sure. And I'm not taking anything away from Kenny Pickett because that play he did was phenomenal. It was a fake slide and he got a touchdown. Holstein won't need to do that.
Which they've changed the rule on now, so that wouldn't even be legal anymore.
There you go. And Holstein will run through you. That's how big he is. I don't think he's going to try to slide. He's going to try, and that could be hurting him, right? We talked about quarterbacks that take that hit. He doesn't need to. But again, I feel there's a lot more opportunity for Holstein this year to really succeed. He didn't hit over 3,000 yards last year. So this is something where I think it's really going to step up for him. Desmond Reed out the backfield is a great running back that can pass catch as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for Holstein this season.
Yeah, as long as he stays healthy. He missed some time last year. Had some nicks and bruises and missed a little bit of time. But I think if he stays healthy, he's definitely looking at a 3,000 plus yard season with 500-600 yards rushing. Right.
No, I 100% agree there for that. Now, with that though, speaking of health, let's talk about our running back star, my guy, Jamie out here saying everybody's better than Kenny Pickett, even though I have a good arm. Kenny Pickett might have a little bit stronger. But speaking of our running backs, go ahead and give your running back, my guy.
My guy, if he's 100% healthy, he's my Devy RB1. That would be CJ Baxter.
There you go.
His freshman year, whenever he got in, he displayed why he was the 5-star number one running back in the country coming out of high school. Very good build, very athletic. And then he got hurt last year. Then he got hurt before last year. So, missed all last season, coming back from a torn ACL. They say he's close to being 100%. If he ever gets back to being 100% healthy, he is my Devy RB1.
That's fair. I mean, you look at, if you watch the tape when he's on the field, he really checks every box you want as a running back. Speed, check. Receiver, he's a good receiver, check. Pass pro, he can definitely block, those defensive ends or the linebackers coming in. He can definitely pick that up, check. Elusiveness, check. Contact balance, check. Field awareness, check. Everything you want in a top running back, you have CJ Baxter in it. Obviously, he was hurt last year. We didn't see it as much last year. So hopefully this season he was able to get healthy, get right, and go in there. And the best part about Texas, and you have talked about this before, is the running back room in general is so deep that he doesn't need to be the workhorse. They don't need him to get 200 plus carries, as some other teams need their running backs to. He can have 120, 150 carries and still be very productive because they have other running backs that can help in that. He doesn't need to necessarily be a goal line back. He could be either big time yardage and stuff like that and still be very effective in that kind of offense there as well. So you really love to see it. Jamie's out here saying small sample size, but not many weaknesses for Baxter except durability.
And sometimes availability is the best ability. So, he has to be on the field.
Right, 100%. And, especially with Arch, you mentioned this too, with Arch having some mobile traits to him, that maybe he does benefit from that as well, as his former quarterback didn't have as much mobility as Arch can have as well. So there are a lot of positives going into it. Obviously, the big one is, can he stay healthy? If he is, Devy RB1, I'm not mad at that there for you. Now, my running back here, that's my guy. I've been kind of bullish on him. I said he was my RB6. That is going to be Ahmad Hardy, Missouri's running back. Really high on him. I know he's stepping up here into a different conference, a whole different. Really, it's kind of like from high school to college.
Yeah, he's moving in from the Sun Belt to the SEC. That's a really big leap.
For sure. And already, though, head coach Eli Drinkwitz has said they've already seen enough of him, that he's proven himself, that we're going to keep him out of these scrimmages and these practices moving forward, or what they need, because they already know what they have. He has great vision, can get small between the tackles, open field elusiveness, absorbs his contact, has speed to win within the first 10, 15 yards. He doesn't have that home run speed. You can catch up to him, but he still has enough to gain those first downs here and there. Obviously, going from where he was, University of Louisiana Monroe, to now Missouri. Missouri doesn't have a strong line, so it's really going to be important to see what can Ahmad Hardy create if the pressure's getting and broken the offensive line for him, because we're probably going to see a lot of it. Is he going to get take him behind the line of scrimmage, or is he going to move forward and continue to pursue further on as well? But one of my guys here, I definitely think he's a good asset to hold on to.
Yeah, and the good thing about Hardy and Missouri is that they have probably the weakest schedule inside the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not having to face the upper echelon team, the upper echelon teams every week. So, he's going to be facing the, like I said, they probably got the easiest schedule inside the conference. And kind of the good thing about him not taking all the reps right now is that Marquise Davis is going to be able to show that he's that next guy in line there at Missouri too.
Right. Yeah. It was a freshman, right? Marquise.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be nice for him as well. Just to go in there and kind of benefit from what he's doing there. It'll be exciting to see what they can do all together there now.
Shout out my boy JT Orange. He's a big Missouri guy.
Oh yeah, he already knows who he's there for and all he's doing there. So if we take any Missouri guys, we have to watch out that he's not on our Jazz, because he'll be like, wait, what are you doing there?
Yep.
But now, speaking of guys coming up or new faces here, I guess we're gonna go into our wide receivers. Now I know you have a couple here. One is one guy you talked about, and or one we haven't really talked about here as much. So go ahead and tell us your guys at the wide receiver position.
My first guy here, I've talked him up all off season. I've talked him up to you. I've said, he is a clone to an all pro right now. That's Makai Lemon. To me, he's a Monroe St. Brown. He is about an inch and a half shorter, but similar size, and their game is almost identical. Put on the side-by-side film of them, and other than the number and the hair, you're not going to be able to tell. You're not going to be able to tell much of a difference, between them.
Right now,
both are very, very good inside the slot, and both can get down the field and get open.
Right, and I think this could be a big year for him, especially in a considerably wide open wide receiver class in 2026. A lot of people are favoritism on one guy, Jordan Tyson, Arizona State, on being the wide receiver one, but really is up for grabs. I say that because Jordan Tyson also has some durability issues. He's been banged up as well. Makai Lemon, if he could be that, we talked about this before. He was a 4-star prospect coming in. There's 2 5-star prospects ahead of him, and guess what? Both of those transferred out. So he kind of became the guy there.
And he outperformed both of them when they were there.
And I know the other guy's Jacoby Lane there. Jacoby Lane is a great prospect, but Makai Lemon's more, you can move him all around. Jacoby Lane, more just a stretcher for me. He'll field stretcher at that point. So there is big opportunity for Makai Lemon to really go out there and succeed this year and raise his draft stock. I don't think first-round status is out of the picture for him. It's definitely possible there. Now, you have another guy. Who's your other guy? Because we haven't really talked about this guy as much, but he's definitely someone people need to watch out for.
My other guy is going into his freshman year at Ohio State. Is Quincy Porter. Even Jeremiah Smith has come out and said that he's the guy after he leaves.
Yep.
We're looking at another 2 years before we see that elite production out of him. Yep. Before he becomes the guy. But even Jeremiah Smith has said that this guy is the next dude after him.
It's funny because actually on my notes, we didn't even talk about our notes prior to this, but on my notes, I put Jeremiah Smith already recognizing his hard work ethic. He's he's someone that goes in there, he's head down, making sure he's getting the stuff done, and he's, like you said, the next guy. I mean,
Ohio State's a wide receiver factory, man. I mean, we're you got Jeremiah Smith, and then we're looking at another 2 years before we even see Quincy Porter.
Right.
Then you got Cornell Tate on the other side. You got Mylan Graham, who's going to slide in after Cornell Tate's gone. You got Brandon Ennis in the slot. I mean, just so many dudes there.
There's a deeper prospect at Ohio State I really like, Phillip Bell, who's someone that's people don't talk about enough. But these guys go in there to learn from Brian Hartline and what he's doing because they see it, even if you're not going on the field year one, doesn't matter because if you go out there and put in the work, you're going to get an opportunity. And guess what? You're going to end up moving into a potential first-round prospect, or you're going to NFL more than likely. Now, things you didn't even hit on Quincy Porter, 6'3", I think you said that, but his wingspan is like 6'7", 6'9", and he uses that to his advantage when he's going up there making those catches, catching the ball at the high point, and really, and really mossing over defenders as well, saying, hey, guess what? It's going to be me. He has great ball tracking skills, And learning from a guy like Jeremiah Smith, it's just going to do wonders for him. And that's what the beauty of Ohio State is you're not necessarily going there to play year one. Obviously, you can. Jeremiah Smith did. But you're really going there and say, hey, I want to be the next guy. I want to be the one to go on there and make it happen. And that's really what draws some schools apart is they're not getting these freshmen to go out there and play year one. There are some that use it, but it's also like, just understand you're going to get your time to shine, but learn from these guys. And you have places like Ohio State, like you said, the wide receiver pipeline, where they're just saying, hey, you're going to come in here and you're going to learn to be a better wide receiver than you already were in high school. And Quincy Porter was an amazing wide receiver in high school. He's going to go out there and be better just because he's going to be learning from the tree. And as you mentioned, 2 years out, Brandon and his Cardinal tape may be gone next year. You still have Jeremiah Smith, and guess what? Then you have Millen Graham, and then it's probably going to be easing in Quincy Porter into it next year as well. Thoughts on Jamie's asking thoughts on Washington guy Denzel Boston or Florida State Deuce Robinson. Mm-hmm. I'm taking Denzel Boston 10 out of 10 times over Deuce Robinson, but Deuce Robinson does have. We'll see. He could be one of their top targets there, but Denzel's definitely a guy that's rising some draft boards as well.
Yeah, last year I was calling Denzel Boston a future first rounder, and people kind of. I'm not saying made fun of me for it, but they kind of like, well, who is Denzel Boston?
Those people know who he is now, though.
Right? No, people know who he is now, right? 6'4", 210. The guy can go up and get it, man.
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, and he is a potential first rounder next year.
Yeah.
Deuce Robinson came in as a big time 5-star prospect at USC. Didn't really put up the type of production everybody was expecting of him. Most people were expecting him to move to tight end. He didn't do that. He didn't want to put on the extra weight in order to do it. Kind of similar to what Nick Harbour did at South Carolina. Just didn't want to put on the extra weight and slow himself down. Then he transferred to Florida State. He's probably going to be their number one target there this year. Him and Squirrel White. I just don't. I've got to see more production out of him. I think he's a pretty fluid guy. A guy that's 6'6" like that, he can run. He's not Johnny Wilson. Johnny Wilson was kind of a clunker out there. He wasn't very fluid or fast. I think Deuce Robinson quite a bit faster than what Johnny Wilson was. Similar length. Johnny Wilson was 6'7". Deuce is 6'6".
Deuce is bigger though, as far as body.
He's more. He's got more of the lean muscle to him, whereas Johnny Wilson was, like I said, more of a clunker.
Right.
So Deuce can run. He can go up and get the ball. We just gotta see the production from him. I think he's going to test out great at the combine whenever he decides to come out. So teams are going to fall in love with him. But I don't know. I mean, I think he focused a little bit too much on baseball. Towards the end of his high school career, and he should have focused a little bit more on football. He may be a little bit further ahead if he'd have done that.
Deuce Robinson's closer to a day 3 pick, where Denzel's closer to a day 1 pick.
I would say Deuce is a day 2 pick. But I think, probably a late 3rd round guy. But I would say Denzel Boston, you're probably looking late 1st round.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, my wide receiver here is a guy I've also been talking about a lot. So if you've been following on here for a little bit, that's going to be Nebraska's new guy in Dane Key. Now, one thing I didn't know after doing some further research, he is 5th all-time in receptions at Kentucky with 126. Being compared to Pat Bryant and Trey Harris, both guys that got some buzz. Trey Harris throughout the season, and Pat Bryant came out, had some good buzz as well. Solid field stretcher.
Dane's much bigger.
Is a nice, better catcher, I feel like, too, than both Trey and Pat, in my opinion. Solid field stretcher, has crisp route running and ability to win those contested catches. Also, his wide receiver coach that was at Kentucky, guess what? Is a wide receiver coach now at Nebraska. So you love to see that. He's going there. He's learning from it. Wide receiver coach went, and he said, Dane, come with me. And Dane said, okay, why not? You have Dylan Raiola there, a guy that needs a wide receiver like me to go out there and get the ball down the field. I'll go be that guy, because guess what? Jamal Banks wasn't that guy last year, and now they have this opportunity. So I think we're going to see a big turnaround for Raiola in his game, and a lot of that's going to be because of Dane Key being his primary wide receiver down the field as well. So I'm very bullish on Dane Key. I have him in everywhere I can right now because I think there's a solid opportunity for him to be a top prospect. And this has been me since his freshman year going to Kentucky. I really love his game, love what he can do in the open field, love what he can do to gain the catch, that 50-50 ball, as you mentioned, with like Quincy Porter. Dane Key could go out there and do that. And we've seen that at the SEC. His bad play was because the quarterbacks weren't good. Mm-hmm. He has a good quarterback now, and now we're going to see him kind of skyrocket to that next level there as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him, back when he was back when he kind of broke on the scene as a freshman. He had Will Levis, but it wasn't really Will Levis. It was Liam Cohen that made him, that really showed off what Dane Key could do. Now moving into Nebraska, Dana Holgerson is the OC there, so they're going to throw the ball, and Dana Holgerson has said that Dane Key is the guy. Right. So, coming in as a transfer, being labeled the guy right away by a very experienced and very good offensive mind in Dana Holgerson, to go along with Dylan Raiola there, he's going to have a big season.
What other interesting back in Holgerson is, so the new wide receiver coach is Dykale Sorge Jr. Guess what? Dan Holgerson was Dykale's offensive coordinator at West Virginia. So now you have him going back with his offensive coordinator, so they have some connection. And on top of that, you have Dane Key going with his wide receiver coach as well. So it's just a pipeline. Hey, I know how you work. You know how I work. There's just the further I dig into the research on it, the further I'm more excited to say there is a big opportunity for Dane Key to have a big year in Nebraska. So this is me telling you, go buy him while you can before it's too late. But speaking on that, we're going to go into some tight ends now because we know people love the tight end talk. Who is your tight end that you're going for as my guy this year?
My guy, I was drafting him a lot last year when he was coming in as a freshman, Jaden Reddell for Georgia. 6'4", 240, kind of that prototypical tight end, really good route runner, really good, really good with the hands, and really good pass catcher, good inline blocker. He's just not going to see the field much until probably next season, once Lawson Lucky and Oscar Delp are out of the way. But Jaden Reddell is going to be a stud moving forward. To me, he's the tight end one for the 2027 draft.
It wouldn't surprise me if he gets reps this year above Delp and Lucky. Delp's been we've been bullish on Delp, but when he's getting opportunity, it's not what we thought he would get. Lucky's looking all right too. Jaden Reddell, though, you mentioned his height and weight, 6'4", 230, 240. This guy was clocked at 21.7 miles per hour. Let me repeat that. 6'4", 240, clocked at 21 miles per hour, almost 22 miles per hour at that size. This is what we call just a physical specimen. Like, this guy is just an unnatural human being is what it is. Yeah. When you're that size and running that quick, that's phenomenal.
He's a lot like Nick Harbor, too. I mean, I mentioned Nick Harbor when I was talking about Deuce Robinson. If Nick Harbor would just steer into the skid and move to tight end, dude would be a freak.
Right. But he's not, that's kind of maybe what Reddell's able to do. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the most fluid, right? Tight end, it's hard to say the fluidity's there, but he really is good in open field. He knows how to make the first defender miss at least. He has the speed, as I mentioned, at 21 miles per hour clock there. And then he's a big body that he can take that contact and absorb it and continue to move forward. It's going to take multiple guys to kind of bring him down there as well. Tree by Reddell. Good luck getting him from Tommy if you're in the leagues with him there. But no, this is a guy that's really going to move forward. And Georgia has produced tight ends in the past. It may take, not maybe this year. I think he gets some opportunity because, again, Delp hasn't really done what I've wanted Delp to do at that level. And Lucky, we'll see what Lucky can do, but definitely Reddell's someone to watch moving forward for Georgia there as well. Now, speaking of guys that I feel aren't getting enough love as they should, maybe it's because they're tight ends, I don't know, but my tight end is going to be Washington State's tight end, Trey Leckner. Now, Trey Leckner is someone that is getting a lot of buzz in Devy, I feel like, as well, but 6'3", 225, Last year, he averaged 17.4 yards for catch off of 5 catches. So it wasn't a lot, but just off that, you've seen, okay, he is someone that can move the chain, someone that's going to move down the field for us and continue those first downs. We should see a lot more opportunity for him this year. Just like Reddell, guess what? He can absorb that contact, displays open field awareness, and really shows the strength after the catch and moving forward and gaining those extra yards after the catch as well. What are your thoughts on Leckner there?
Yeah, got to see him get on the field. I mean, he's, he wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school. And to me, he feels a little undersized. 6'3", 220, 225 isn't your typical tight end size. He's more of a big body wide receiver at that point. Right. And he plays for Washington State, so the competition level isn't very high. Right. And he's projected to be there, the tight end 2 there this year. So he's not even projected to start right now. I do expect to see him on the field quite a bit, but I really like to see what type of targets he gets and how he translates those targets into production. For sure.
And again, if he's able to continue that stretch of just double-digit yards per catch, per reception there, that's going to be something that just benefits him, because even if he's not getting as much opportunity, if he's someone that moves down the field for the team, that's going to be beneficial. That's going to help them win some games, because he's going to continue to get those first downs for them as well. So that's Washington State's Trey Leckner there. Now, those were our offensive guys there. A lot of my guys there, but these are guys that we're really bullish on. These are guys that we're taking where we can in our C2C and our Devy leagues, because there is high hopes for them. Not only this season, but we see some pro talent in them as well for it. Now, we want to keep our IDP community involved as well, so we'll give y'all some IDP guys. Tommy, this is a guy, I love him. Just go ahead. I mean, he's an Oregon guy, so I'll let you talk about it, but I have a lot to say about him too. But go ahead with your first guy.
Well, before we jump into these IDPs, I kind of want to shout out Amir. He said he knew what names were going to come out of our mouths first, and I said, I doubt you do. I'd like to know if we said any of the guys he was thinking, or if we kind of went off board for him.
There you go.
But as far as D-line here, I've got a couple guys. Matayo Uiagalelei, yes, he is DJ's brother. He, 6'4", 270. He is that strong side pass rusher, man. He is going to wreck shop. He was first team All Big Ten last year as a sophomore. I think he's got first round potential this upcoming draft. This guy is he's a bull in a china shop.
He said everyone except Porter. So he's not only in the shows, he's also in our DMs talking show. So it does surprise me. Amir is definitely learning everything he can. Shout out to Amir for doing what he can in the Devy community and finding all these C2C assets as well. Appreciate you listening, Amir. Now with Matayo Uiagalelei, I said his name incorrectly, so I apologize. I just say Matayo. That's how I go about him. But with Matayo, I don't know if this is a hot take or anything. I really think he has the potential to be the number 1 overall pick. I really think that's the type of season he can have. There is just so much upside from him last season. He came in and he made himself known as the Oregon defender. Even Lanning said he stepped up to be the leader of the room. He's taken that presence in Oregon to be one of the leaders on the defensive unit. Last season, 10.5 sacks, 31 pressures, 76.7 pass grade on PFF. He's taking lessons from an Oregon great in Kayvon Thibodeau. He is perfecting his game. And I think this season we're going to see a step up. They lost some units on the offensive or defensive line, A big reason why Oregon's going to succeed this year is going to be because of the pressure that Matayo brings to opposing quarterbacks and forcing offenses off the field to give the Oregon offense better field position. He is that good. And I know we've talked about this heavy quarterback class. I know teams are big on quarterbacks, but I really think Matayo can be, again, that number 1 overall pick. And
he's really good. He's really good in the run game too. He's not just a strong side pass rusher. The guy can stop the run
for sure. And I know you have another guy here, and we'll talk about him in a second. But I want to go to my guy here because I think these both guys can be top 3 picks. So we're talking about 2 defensive linemen, edge rushers as top 3 NFL draft picks, and that's gonna be my guy Rueben Bain from Miami. Now, Bain was a little bit banged up last year. Didn't have as great as a season as he would. I think he's going to lead the ACC this year in sacks, and that's going to be over TJ Parker at Clemson, who was the leader, I believe, last year in the ACC. He's going to come out here and dominate. I think this is going to be his year to have that Abdul Carter type of season. He's a bigger defender off the edge, but he moves like he's a small edge rusher. Like, he is just so strong in what he does, and he knows how to really manipulate his blockers to move where he needs to. If they're trying to block him, he's moving them in the direction he needs to, or he's quick enough to just get around the edge as well. And just how Matayo's could be a big part in Oregon's success. I really think Rueben Bain Jr. is a big part in what Miami is going to be able to do because of the pressure he could bring to those opposing quarterbacks as well there. And,
we had mentioned Rueben Bain, several weeks ago whenever we were talking the ACC, and he has the ability to be a top 5, top 10 pick next year. I really want to see how Miami utilizes him.
Right.
I know that they kind of that Miami may kind of switch him, from side to side a little bit, just to, depending on game situation. But hopefully they put him in the right spots in order to make big plays, because this guy is very dynamic. And again, another extremely good pass rusher.
He's definitely better coming off the left side. It seems like he's a little bit more fluid coming off and adjusting over, where if he's on the right side, that's where you're seeing more of the strength, because he's pushing his blockers back there. So again, the utilization will be key. But again, if he's able to capitalize on both, the teams are going to say, okay, look, this guy can really do it all. And sometimes that helps. You look at some old teams, I think of the Giants, when they had the plethora of a defensive linemen just moving them around. That's going to be something you want, that circulation, to say, hey, you can move all around the field and we can kind of rotate you. And that's something I think Rueben Bain does really well there as well. Now, those are two guys we think can come out next year as top 3 picks. You have a guy there at defensive line that's one of your guys. And I mentioned him earlier as a hot take when we first started doing Devy Degens, but talk to us about this next guy.
Yeah, Collin Simmons out of Texas. He's going into his sophomore year. I think he's going to lead the SEC in sacks. I think he's going to be a first-team All-American this year.
Love it.
This guy has everything you want from a defensive edge rusher. He has the potential to be a number 1 overall pick when he comes out of the draft.
Yeah. I think I marked that as a hot take. If I'm not mistaken, he was second on the team in sacks last year as a true freshman. I think he had like 6 or 7, maybe. He was definitely up there behind them, and it's something Texas really needs. I know Anthony Hill's there as well.
The crazy thing is they not only have Collin Simmons and Anthony Hill, but they also have Trey Moore. And Trey Moore is coming off the edge on the other side. These guys are going to dominate up front.
That's a big reason why AP poll came out. Texas was number 1, right, overall, because Texas is really revamping itself to be one of those top teams that we used to see them every year competing for, championships. Texas is really moving into that role of, okay, yeah, we're getting back there as well. Part of it's because of Collin Simmons, and then you have Trey Moore, and then you have, Anthony Hill Jr. They have a good defense going around where it's really strong for them to really get to that next level and dominate there as well. Now, we talked about the guys in the front, in the trenches there. Let's talk about some of the guys that are more the linebacker positions there. I'm going to start off because we kind of just already hit on him here, and that's going to be Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. That was one of my guys there, simply because, man, this is a stud. From the get-go, he was a stud coming in as a freshman. He's continued to grow. He's been behind the scenes, I guess you will, because Texas has been producing linebackers. Last year, he stepped in, got over 100 tackles. This year, it's going to really be his team there. Last year, they still had David Benda, if I'm not mistaken. That was one of their top linebackers there. Anthony Hill's, it's his team now. He's going to go out there and do it. He's an explosive linebacker, can get sideline to sideline, 6'3", 240. What's a little bit more weight put onto him? But he's really getting better. He's only getting better as he progresses within the system to do it. He can go out there and close the gaps to close the run, get some good run stops, or guess what? He's fast enough that he can drop back into coverage and really make it difficult for these quarterbacks to understand where they're throwing to, or if they even should challenge him, because he wants that to happen there as well.
Yeah, Anthony Hill is going. He has the ability and the potential to be the top linebacker taken in this next draft. I got a couple more guys here. Also, Harold Perkins is another. Whit Weeks is another. There's going to be a lot of good linebackers coming out, in this next year's draft.
With the linebackers, it seems linebackers are kind of the running back of the defense, where teams aren't really as bullish on. We'll see as many go that should potentially go in the first round. That we see them kind of get pushed back there. So I say that because maybe he's not a first round pick. I still wouldn't sleep on him because there's opportunity. I think he will be too.
I think there's going to be a couple.
Yeah. For sure, and one of them could be your guy too. Talk to us about this Ole Miss guy.
Yeah, I've got a couple guys here. Suntarine Perkins for Ole Miss and CJ Allen out of Georgia. I think these three guys that we're talking about here, along with Harold Perkins, those are probably your top four linebackers coming out of this next year's draft. I know Pittsburgh has another guy who's kind of pushing for that too. But Suntarine Perkins and CJ Allen, both guys, sideline to sideline. Suntarine Perkins is also a really good edge rusher. So he can come off that edge. He is a lot like what Micah Parsons was when he was at Penn State. Really good pass rusher, and you can line up anywhere on the field basically. CJ Allen is a really good run stopper. Really came on towards the middle end of last year as one of the top linebackers in the country.
Now, Perkins, correct me if I'm wrong. Princely Human, I'm gonna say the name correct. He went to NFL, didn't he?
He did, but his brother Princewell is at Ole Miss now too.
Okay, that's where, because I was like, I thought he went to NFL, and then I saw the same last name. Okay, that makes sense then. His brother's there. But I say that because I was watching tape on him as well, and Suntarine's learning from Princely as well. And that's a guy that just went into the NFL more recently. He's going to be someone that's a big-time prospect there to be a top defender in the NFL. You're going to see a guy like Suntarine kind of excel that. And I know you mentioned Perkins and Harold Perkins at LSU. There was glimpses last year where Suntarine was better than Harold Perkins. And there was opportunity where Harold Perkins came off the field, and you mentioned Whit Weeks. Whit Weeks came on and showed some better capability as well. Harold Perkins did get banged up, so that happened to him. So hopefully this year he comes in because he's been a top linebacker that we've talked since freshman year as well. But this is shaping out to be a nice linebacker class moving forward.
Let's also not forget about my guy over at UT, Arion Carter. That guy he
means Tennessee for those Texas fans. When he says
real
UT,
the real UT, Tennessee, yes, the real UT.
We're gonna talk about that a little later.
Yeah, but Arion Carter is another freak athlete playing linebacker there too. So watch out for him also.
Yeah, he's a guy that's definitely stepping in, and I think he's gonna be part of the Tennessee defense in general, because last year we kind of saw a little bit of him moving forward into the starting role. Now it is his, and he's gonna be one that's gonna be helping close up those gaps for Tennessee, and then also just someone that's gonna be available. He has that sideline speed as well, and that's Arion Carter there. Now, moving forward, I'm excited to talk about these next two guys because I think both are very explosive in their own rights, as well as defensive backs, safeties, defensive backs. They can really play everywhere you want. I'm going to let you talk about your guy first because it looks like he might be the next Travis Hunter. At least that's what it's shaping out to be potentially. We'll talk about your guy here.
Yeah, Coy Perich out of Minnesota. There's talk that he's going to play some offense this year too, coming out of that safety spot. He's been playing safety there for him. It looks like he's going to play a little bit of wide receiver also. He's preseason All-American. You don't really see that a whole lot out of Minnesota, for a defensive back like that. Right. But he is a big time safety prospect.
Right. Well, you mentioned he played wide receiver. Amir's saying my guy. I wonder if he's talking about Coy Perich there.
He is. Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
There you go. Well, he had 46 total tackles, 5 interceptions, I think, last season. And you mentioned he played offense there. Well, last season he was their main returner, in punt returner. He had 22 punts for 188 yards. I think he had some kick returns as well in there, just over 100, I believe. But really the first athlete that had over 100 yards in the returning and also 5 interceptions in the season. There's opportunity that he can really be the next Travis Hunter. Maybe that's what he wants to become because he has the speed, has the awareness, truly a jack of all trades type of defender / weapon on offense as well. The question will be, is Minnesota going to be able to utilize it as well? We've talked about Darius Taylor there and what he can do for the team. Coy Perich can definitely help excel that offense if he becomes that playmaker that he is on defense and transitions that over to an offensive weapon there as well. Now, my defensive back, that's my guy here, is a transfer from Purdue, a guy we talked about since his freshman year as well, and that's Dillon Thieneman. Now, he transferred over to Oregon now, and he's really become a vocal leader there as well. Coach Lanning has said he's really came into the locker room and really excelled and been vocal in the locker room, say, hey, he's stepping up and being that leader, as we mentioned Matayo there as well. But he's really a guy that has sideline to sideline speed. We saw that at Purdue. He could close in when the guy catches the ball. He has great hip movement where if he needs to adjust or if he's backpedaling and needs to go over to get to the wide receiver, guess what? He's catching up. He has great ball skills where he's definitely going up there. If he's not swatting the ball down, he's getting an interception. And not only that, he's gaining yards after the interception as well. He's not just getting the ball and then getting tackled. He's actually making moves to make those big plays. I expect a big season from him. We also have news that, Oregon, drawing a blank here, not Aaron Flowers, Trey McNutt, Oregon safety, got hurt this year, broke a leg, possibly out for the season. Yep. So speedy recovery for him. But it means more for Dillon Thieneman in the fact that they're going to have to rely on him more, which I think what we've seen at Purdue, this is what he's meant to be. I mean, he led Purdue in tackles as a freshman and as a sophomore. Like, he is that guy where he's going to make sure the secondary for Oregon is covered. That's how good he can be there as well.
Yeah. A couple more guys that I like to throw out there, talked about linebacker a minute ago. Oregon has a stud middle linebacker that also plays center field on their baseball team.
Sure.
You would know his name better than I would. He kind of got
Is it Bryce Brashear?
There you go.
Yep.
And then at defensive back, if your league requires you to play a corner, my guy over at UT, Jermod McCoy, coming off an ACL injury, but he tore his ACL back in January, but he is already back on the field, going through drills. So kind of expecting him back probably middle to late September at this point. Mm-hmm. But he's another guy who could potentially be a top 10, top 15 pick next year.
Brashear, I will hit on Brashear a little bit there because he's definitely going to step up as well. Other guys, I mean, he was really stepping up last year, and they're excited to have him back there as well. But he's going to be the Oregon unit has guys in the front, they have guys in the middle, and they have guys in the secondary, and they're really developing. And shout out to the Oregon recruit, and not just them. There's a lot of guys that are staying active in the recruiting portal, and we love to see it more and more. And really, what this NIL, what this conference shift has done from the Pac-12 kind of being separated amongst the ACC, amongst the Big 12 and the SEC, and then the Big 10 there. SEC, no one got the SEC, but ACC, Big 12, and Big 10 is we're seeing more movement from these teams that were in the Pac-12 and the recruiting because they're able to go and get those guys now that they weren't really as strong as getting before because they're not really going to the East Coast or down south. Now we're seeing a lot more, so you're seeing these recruiting guys come up next, but it happens because you're seeing leaders like Brashear, like Matayo, that have been at Oregon saying, this is what it is. That Oregon's developed me to be this prospect. We're going out there and getting this competition. This is what we fight for, and it's about being the best you can, not only on the field, but also off the field as well. And you love to see that kind of recognition, that development from these coaches. We're getting back to I think it was Tom Brady said in an interview way long, you weren't learning programs that back then. When he was at Michigan, it was like, I was learning a program here, and now it's just schools. But we're getting back to these programs, developing these prospects to be better young men, I guess you can say as well. And shout out Brashear, Corey Perich, all these guys we're talking about because they're really taking it to these next level, and we're seeing it year over year. It's not just a plateauing. All these guys we mentioned as my guys this year, we've seen that development. They're getting better and better year over year. That it's really a testament to their game, to their work ethic, to the coaches that are coaching them to just say, hey, it's not just about what you're doing right now on the field. It's about what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do the next day? How are you going to get better and better?
Well, I mean, that also comes with the advancements in strength and conditioning. These strength and conditioning coaches have got these guys on point year round. Whereas 20, 25, 30 years ago, these guys didn't really take it all that seriously, when during the off season. Now these guys are, 7 days a week, 365 going at it. So, they're training all year round, basically from middle school on. So, I mean, it's gotten to a point where it has become a job for them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. You love to see that growth, and that just makes us, the people in the Devy space, even more excited because more and more people are becoming Devy type of players because there is potential for them as well.
Bigger, faster, stronger every year.
Exactly, and more prospects. Not only you're not even looking at 5 stars, you look at 4 and 3 stars. Like, all right, there's opportunity. You're making it happen there as well. Today we did not do a mock. I do apologize for the people that are looking for us to do a mock. We did do a mock today. This was a special episode and just talking about our guys. Again, guys, we're bullish on, so we'll get back to our mocks next week as well. We are getting closer and closer to the start of the college football season. That's an exciting time for me and Tommy. It's a time we really enjoy. He has his favorite team in Tennessee. I have my favorite team in Oregon. We're not just watching those teams. We're dialed into those teams when they're playing, but we're watching college football as well. And honestly, there is rumor that ESPN might be fiddling around with the red zone for college football. And I know that's just,
here's hoping.
We're fingers crossed for that, because if that happens, don't talk to us on Saturday because we're dialed in completely. It's
gonna have the quad box up on 2 different TVs, buddy.
Right. Exactly. No, but that's all we have for y'all today. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dynasty Trade Calculator. Tommy just added more players in there as well. If you're looking for value, Dynasty Trade Calculator is the place you want to go, because it's not just Devy values. Guess what? You're in Devy leagues. We have it there where you can see what you can get for Matt Stafford, who's injured. What Devy prospect can you possibly get for a Matthew Stafford there? Who can you trade? A Anthony. I don't know if we have IDP in there. Actually,
we don't have any IDP in there yet.
IDP not yet. That's something that we've been talking about to go in there. But who can you get for, if you're looking at Dane Key? Who can you trade Dane Key for as a pro prospect if you're looking for that? Or what can you trade away for a Dane Key as well? All those things can go in there. Go sign up for Dynasty Trade Calculator. Me and Tommy are doing those Devy rankings there to make it easier for you to adjust and find that value there as well.
Yeah, just remember, whenever you're looking at the Dynasty Trade Calculator, that it is a tool. It's not the be all end all of what
Right.
I offered this guy this for this, and he didn't take it. I feel like I'm getting lowballed. It is a tool. Everybody has their own values, when they're playing. So, whatever your league mate may have a value on somebody could be totally different than what you value them. So, Dynasty Trade Calculator is just a tool to kind of show you, comparable values.
I will say there's 3 rankings you want to have, right? You want to have your own personal rankings because that's important, so you know how to value your guys. You want to know what consensus is thinking as well, but you also want to know how your league values it as well. Every single league you're in, whether it be Devy leagues, C2C leagues, Dynasty leagues, redraft, every single league you're in, those people within that league have different values on those different players. Now, you need to understand that, because just as we may say DJ Lagway is our top quarterback, we may be in a league where no one even sees him as top 5, and that's okay. But for us, it's gonna benefit because we can buy low on him, right? But at the same time, you may be in a league where someone's like, "I'm not gonna trade you," even if you're giving me Jaden Daniels, I'm not gonna give you DJ Lagway, right? Of course, that may be a little crazy, but it may be something like that where they're that high on those players. So know the consensus, know your own rankings, know your league and how they value those players. There's some players in specific leagues where I'm specifically not trading for players, even though there's high consensus value. I know the league isn't talking about them, so there's no reason for me to acquire because I know there's no value there for those players as well. So know those things going into it. 'Tis the season. We hope y'all are all doing great in these leagues. Your Devy draft should be coming to a close or wrapping up here as we get closer and closer. As we go forward, we have a lot of exciting things coming to you during the season. But for everyone within the Dynasty Degens, we are the Devy Degens, SC Romero, Tommy Harvey. Until next time, peace.